A disturbance in the stew, I feel. New Jedi listeners. Strong they are. Subscribe they must. Yes?
Hello there.
Incoming transmission.
You will go to the Dagobah system. There you will learn from Yoda, Master of the Stew.
A Jedi's strength flows from the stew.
There'll be no one to stop us this time.
Strong is the stew.
Yoda. You seek Yoda.
Yes.
Hello there and welcome to Yoda Stew, the strongest stew in the galaxy. A Jedi's strength flows from the stew. This is your dedicated spot for all things Star Wars. I'm your host, Ezra, here to guide you through the latest Star Wars news, insights, and discussion from a galaxy far, far away.
Red 12 standing by.
Red 6 standing by.
Red 4, standing by.
Red 11, standing by.
Red 9, standing by.
Red 2, standing by.
Lock as foils in attack position.
I have a bad feeling about this.
And you thought they smelled bad on the outside.
All right, friends. Well, welcome back. The fire is crackling. It's crackling out of freaking control for this episode. So we are here with Acolyte episode 7, Choice. And boy, oh boy, there were some choices to be made. I don't know which direction to go. I don't even know what to say, honestly, anymore with these episodes. Let's just talk about how we both initially felt after the episode. Now, it could be that we're tired. It's been a long day or whatever, but how did you initially feel? We just got off the couch, came over, sat down, microphones are hot, non-spoiler, give me 30 seconds. How did you just feel after the episode?
I was a little disappointed, and I want to like it, and I want to go in there without all the critics in my mind, like all these voices telling you, "Oh, this show is
it's bad, it's garbage, right?" Yeah, all those critics.
But
you're not. It's not been. I can tell. I'll go ahead and say it kindly, so you don't have to. All right.
Yeah.
I can just go ahead and say that it's a mystery. So since it's a mystery, we keep coming back and we kind of want to know the final result, like what the heck actually happened. But nothing about it is
groundbreaking. And
well, there's one thing that might be, but actually, the things that are groundbreaking, I think people don't like actually. But there are characters I like.
Yeah.
Here's a problem. There are characters that I like. They're all dead.
Yeah.
Okay. They're all dead.
Except for Soul.
Except for Soul, and the character that we thought we liked, Soul.
Right.
We don't like him anymore.
Something pretty awful.
No, I don't like him. I don't think he's a wise master. I don't think he's, I mean, I know people have to learn, but like, yeah. So sorry. Now, full spoilers. The show, essentially, there's just things about it that are, I don't know. It's not super inspiring.
Right. Yes, that's a good word.
Right. Because here's the thing. I guess like, for the most part, what Star Wars has always been to me is you're going on this. I don't care if you do it over and over and over again. It's always been this quest where you're going to fight evil, and we very clearly we don't muddy the waters, and we know who the good guys are, who the bad guys are. We know the dark side pulls you over, and it's bad, and all these different things. And this has basically been a muddying of the waters, sort of like, are the witches good? Should we feel bad for them? What were they really doing there? Did the Jedi make mistakes? You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's a show about the dark side, dude. But yet it doesn't feel like that. Because I think we'd be okay if it were just straight, like, all right, you know what? It's just about the bad guy, and we are rooting for a few good guys in there that maybe don't make it or something, but they're still truly good. But I don't know. I'm struggling.
Yeah.
Struggling with the show a little bit. It's just, I don't know. It is cool. There is some really cool things to it. And like I said, there was cool lightsaber fights. I think the most intriguing part now, I've sort of completely shifted gears, is now Chimera. I actually think that's more interesting. And so
than their story.
Than this. Yeah. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed with the Jedi. And I'm not saying I'm disappointed like with the show or this particular episode. That's the feeling that the show has caused in me. Does that make sense? Yes. When I watch Lord of the Rings and I watch Harry Potter and I watch this classic hero journey and I watch, episode 4, 5, and 6 of Star Wars, Luke Skywalker and him triumphing over Vader and Palpatine, yeah, you get inspired. You know, the music kicks in and you're like, you get goosebumps. You're like, oh man, oh, this is it, right?
Yeah.
This is the moment where it's all going down. And in a way, like, I am still a huge fan. The reason Star Wars is that everything that it is because of those first 3 movies. The whole story started off with that at its core, because when you have episode 1, 2, and 3, it's the fall of Anakin Skywalker. And it's sad and heart-wrenching, and you see the best of him. So there are moments where, like with Soul, that I'm kind of like, oh man, dude, you could be a really good dude, and you made this very bad mistake. So I'm still on the line there, still wanting to see what happens to him in this next episode. And is he going to do the right thing? He didn't do the right thing there. Neither did Indara. So it seems like none of them did do the right thing. So yeah, I don't know. The Jedi mess up.
Yeah.
There you go. Spoilers. The Jedi mess up and it's bad. The witches also mess up and it's bad. And
it
just feels bad. The second to last episode, I don't feel really good about anything. And it's called, it's titled Choice, and it's bitter. It's a bitter choice that's made. I think the only person that was really sort of like, okay, and Master Indara at least has her stuff together.
Right.
And then she
wants to do the right thing.
Doesn't.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
It's such a what did you say? You said that they don't
something that it goes against their
like Jedi
code, right?
Right.
To lie to the council.
Lie to the freaking council.
Yeah.
You gotta be thrown out of the order. You ought to, if you're gonna go in there, I'm sorry, if you're gonna go in there and lie to Master Yoda, you're out. You're out. For 16 years, y'all shouldn't have been Jedi.
Yeah.
And the only person who knows that and understood it and took it to heart was Torben.
Yeah.
Because he said, you know what? I'm gonna take the Barrage vow, and I'm gonna literally just meditate and hover in the air because we shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Crazy. What caused him to do? I mean,
I know, it was so weird, like his rashness just to say, I want to get out of here.
Yeah, that was strange. Yeah, just like a pouty Padawan.
It was really, really weird. And I can't even say out of character because we don't know him that well.
Right.
Especially back then when he was still a Padawan. But it felt very un-Jedi like everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I've been going back and forth. Like last episode was weird, but it was like, okay, interesting stuff with Chimere.
I thought last episode was better than this
I know you
episode.
loved last episode, and I was like, it was a lot of nakedness, a lot of naked last episode, which had me smiling, and I was like, all right, we got naked Sith Lord on screen. Here we go. Let's go. But then we come back to this, and I just don't like anything about it. I don't like, and again, maybe that's the showrunner's whole point here is to kind of say. There's this conversation about who can wield power, and the Jedi aren't all good. We know that, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just not inspired by anybody. Nobody. There's not a character now in this show that I look up to.
Right.
I would say, you know what? I really look up to that character, and I like how they're behaving and all that kind of stuff. And even Venestra is hiding stuff from the council. And I know that's the whole point of the show. I guess I kind of forgot that. I mean, I didn't know exactly that this was going to be about. I know it's like the Acolyte, and it's about acquiring a dark side pupil.
Yeah.
And I would have rather it just been about that and not all of this. I don't know. It almost would have been. Okay, here's the thing. In episodes 1, 2, and 3. Sorry, I'm just going on a tangent. I'm still losing my mind about this stuff. Episodes 1, 2, and 3, the Jedi are still all acting and behaving like Jedi. They are trying their darndest, right? They're good. It is good guys fighting against the bad guy who's in the Senate, who is the Senate, and they lose. The good guy, the best, Yoda, Master Yoda, they're outsmarted, they're outwitted. He always speaks from a place of kindness and compassion and seeking the light and all those different things. And he really does seem to hold true to what he believes, and it seems to be good. Whereas a lot of this episode felt selfish, and it felt like there was, selfishly wanting a Padawan, and then the Padawan wanted to selfishly go back to Coruscant.
Right.
Kelnaka gets caught up in the whole mess. Feel kind of poor.
Feels like he's the only one who just does what he's supposed to do.
He's just a Wookiee walking around like,
Also, we don't know what he says, but
yeah, we don't know. Yeah, he's all right. Like, let's go get these witches. No, I don't know what he said, but he just seems to be content and pretty chill. And then Indara's like, seemingly going by. As the episode was going along, I'm like, man, I'm really starting to like Indara. This is cool.
Mm.
Then right at the end, she's like, we're gonna lie.
Yeah.
Dude, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know that they do, because clearly, I mean, Vanestra Rowe is sort of like scolding Soul about, why didn't you tell me all this different stuff? You know, I mean, he flat out. Here's the thing. Sorry, I know I keep saying that, but it's like the Jedi, when Soul is holding those two girls in the air, right? Man, you would almost just like, I know it's this. He sort of actively chose to remove one hand and support the other girl, right? To support Osha and let May fall.
Yeah.
And now we're sitting here also.
What's that supposed to teach us?
I don't know. And so then the last episode, he's like, I've thought for 16 years, looking at May, what I would say to you. And we never even got that this episode.
Right.
So a part of my bitterness actually about this whole show is that it's been breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
It's just been little tiny breadcrumbs. And I'm like, oh my God, this was the biggest episode we had. And it still felt like, okay, yes, cool. We went back and we figured out that there was some nasty witch control stuff going on and some craziness. Yeah. So sorry. Okay, we got the bad out of the way. We got the just the feel. You don't feel good. I want to know if people honestly think the same thing, because last episode, like I said, intrigued. The lightsaber fight, like, holy smokes, dude. This is you're at the climax right there. And then you're in this where you bounce back 16 years and you just don't feel good.
Yeah. You
don't feel good about what the Jedi do. You don't feel good about the situation that they're in. And it feels really bad. And I don't see any hope.
Yeah.
And I think, I guess when I think of Star Wars, I think even of Andor. He's leading those guys, out of that prison. Right. And he's just they're going level to level to level. And it's just like this rebellion, this hope. Rebels is built on hope. The Clone Wars, they think they're fighting for good. They're being manipulated by the dark side. All of it, even the sequels. I think it's the first show where it's not hopeful.
Yeah.
There's no hope. This is literally a dark side show, but it's not.
But not in an intriguing way. I mean, like you said, the only intriguing character is Chimere.
That's it. That's it. And I mean, we'll talk about some spoilers and some theories as to who we think he is, and I give some shout outs to other channels who have been breaking this down. But he's the only person I'm intrigued in. Honestly, now you could have just did half an episode with this.
Yeah.
Showed me the dirty, the Jedi messing up, and then let's move on. Go back to Chimere and give me more of Chimere seducing Osha to the dark side.
I also think, since it's a mystery, I think the reveal of the mystery has to blow your mind, right? If it's all about that.
Yeah, true.
And it didn't. Not at all. I thought there was so much more to all the things that happened that day or that night.
Right.
And the fire, it was really just May's fire that she started, and that spread, and everything exploded.
Right. It was an accident. She's a kid who had a tantrum and then was like, oh God, I can't believe I just did that.
Plus, I know she has some powers, and maybe that enhanced the fire even more.
Sure. Yeah.
Her anger and everything. And then
why did Soul kill Anastasia?
It was such a weird scene.
It was strange.
I mean, was he trying to protect Torben? Did he think she was gonna get into Torben's mind again in her black veil form?
Right. Well, that's the thing.
Smoke, whatever it was.
Yeah, the black smoke form thing, whatever. I mean, they are all lying to the Jedi, so they don't tell them the truth. And then, you're basically, she's like, I was gonna say that Osha could go. No, you weren't.
Yeah.
You were just being convinced by everyone there that, like, you shouldn't let her go. And she does finally say, like, I'm going to act as a mother.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So this mother's going to let her daughter go. But the Jedi just broke in here.
Yeah.
And I mean, and then she's being very aggressive. And then she sees her daughter, May, running around the corner, mama, right?
Yeah.
And so maybe she just reacted split second and was like sending her spirit to May. And he misunderstood that and strikes her down, possibly,
That's my only explanation, because otherwise maybe he wasn't aware. Maybe he was trying to protect himself there.
Right.
He wasn't aware that he could actually stab her by stabbing the black smoke form.
Yeah. It's either one of two things.
It's just not explained.
It's not explained. No.
That's my problem.
It looks like she's going towards May
or
Torben. Or him, who knows? I have to go back and watch it again, I guess. But he has a moment where he kind of looks between both. He looks between May. He actually says Osha when she comes out.
So
he's mistaken in terms of that. But then he turns and he ignites the lightsaber, stabs her. Mother Coral, by the way, with the horns and stuff, we don't see her. We don't see her die either.
No.
So I think she's still alive. I've never seen her. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know how.
Well,
again,
that's the second thing though.
Yeah.
That's not explained. Why did all the witches die? Were they all?
Did Indara kill them all?
It looked like it. Did
mentally?
Yeah, that was the second weirdest scene was they all had these black eyes.
Right.
Were they all united in spirit, and she just in her spirit knocked them out? In
Kelnaka's mind. Yeah. It's strange. I do think that it took all of them. I understand why all of the witches maybe needed to overpower a Wookiee's mind. Yeah, because it's like Torben, it won. Anastasia is the most powerful. Right. Mother Anastasia, most powerful. So she could take on a Padawan and get him to say, here's what I want. Right. I want to go back, and she finds something, and then she finds a weakness there. But Kelnaka, I mean, I don't even know if they can speak Shirwalk. Like, can they even actually talk to Kelnaka, right? So they're in Kelnaka's mind, and they had to overpower him with all of those different witches. But it feels like she just helps sever the connection, and by severing the connection, they die. Yeah. Maybe they don't. Maybe they just passed out, and we just assume they die. Could that be the case? That they actually weren't dead there, and they just passed out? But they look dead. They all just drop lifeless, and you're like, okay. And they're all left in the fire. No one stops the fire. You're right. The Jedi just leave. Let it burn down. Hey, the Jedi are good. The Jedi are good. The Jedi are good. All right. Yeah, it is. You're starting to sound grumpy, but I know, and I don't want to sound. I don't want to sound grumpy because, like I said, I like the lightsaber fight in the one episode. I thought that was pretty cool. And as you go back and watch these two, I think as you go back and watch different bits, you're like, it grows on you. Yeah. I gotta say, like, I went and watched episode 1. I was like, this is growing on me, but it's just not enough. It's just too little, and it's kind of the problem I have with Rings of Power season 1, which is that like they wanted you to feel sorry for the bad guy, and they wanted you to guess who the bad guy was the whole time, and that's what the show is doing. It's just like, hey, it's a guessing game. It's like, let's just keep guessing as to who is who. And I don't know. I mean, when I sign up for Star Wars, I really kind of sign up more for these inspirational stories, the good guy versus the bad guy, and even if the bad guy does, win, like in Empire Strikes Back, which is probably one of the best movies, your character Luke did everything they could. They did everything they could, and sometimes you don't win, but you got to get back up, and you got to keep fighting, and you got to keep moving forward, right? And it's that resilience. It's the thing that we respect in like the likes of Harry Potter, for example. He has every bad thing happen to him in the world, but yet he chooses good. Right. Choices. This episode's all about choices, and they made pretty terrible choices. I mean, it's just like, if it's so crazy, it even breaks my heart a little bit for like Jecki. When I think about Jecki and Master Soul being your master, sorry, Jecki. Like, I feel bad. I feel bad. I feel like Soul's a dark side dude now, and I'm not even close to having any respect for him. Yeah, and I think this is what what's gonna tip her off, her off. No. Yeah, turn her to the dark side when she finds out what Soul did. Yeah, for sure. Okay, but let's talk about, first, is there a scene that you enjoyed? It's like where you would say, okay, this was a cool. These are the lightsaber fight with Kelnaka. Kelnaka had a cool movement, like a cool jump. Yeah, it was cool to see a Wookiee fight. I do think it's cool. I wish it were. I wish it were a Wookiee fighting Chimere. You know what I mean? I wish you were fighting him and stuff, and that would have been really sick. But yeah, I think that was interesting. We're pointing out some good things here. I felt like the bit where they are on the planet trying to discover more about it, and they're trying to realize they made a connection to the High Republic series, the Great Hyperspace Catastrophe. Okay, where basically the Nihil hijack hyperspace lanes and they destroy a ship in hyperspace, and it's going hyperspeed, and so it launches out sort of all its cargo compartments, and it's got people on it, and basically at the speed of light, these ships are like hitting planets and destroying things, and it's awful. It's a great disaster. And they reference that Brendock, I guess, is one of those planets. I don't remember it. Oh, that's why there shouldn't be life on this planet. Yeah, shouldn't be life here because it was a part of that disaster. That's why they come there to investigate. Yeah, because all of a sudden it's teeming with life again, and it's like it's got a lot going on. So they think that it's a vergence in the Force. And I think this is interesting. So essentially, this is what we call like a Force nexus. A nexus is like a place, it's an energy field where the Force is strong, unusually strong. And the tree that we see seems to be actually the actual spot where from there, everything, the center, and it grows and it spreads from there, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So I guess I'll just read one of these interesting quotes here as they took the blood sample from the twins.
Yeah.
And we get into like what is kind of going on here. Torben says, I'm just going to bear with me here. I'm going to read this. It says, wait, their symbionts are the same. Okay. And I'm going to look up exactly what all this exactly means. They're twins. And he's like, no, they're exactly the same. Even identical twins would have different symbionts. And so let me look that up real quick just to kind of make sure I know what he's talking about, because he basically says that they have two bodies, but one essence, if that makes sense.
Consciousness or
yeah, one consciousness. So I don't know exactly what they're talking about there. How did they do that? How did they split them into,
and why?
Yeah, were they just why not just have one child and why make it into two bodies to have twins? You know what I'm saying? Was one actually going to be sacrificed? Was that the whole thing? So I mean, what did you think about that part where they were like, we're going to actually
is that just what the Jedi thought they would do, but they would never do that, right? I mean, it didn't seem like it at all. It felt like a great misunderstanding
of the whole episode.
Everything.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, that child also, one of the children, started a fire that happened to destroy their whole house, home, fortress, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And all the witches just fall dead.
Yeah.
It's just all over the place.
Yeah, it's a little all over the place. Yeah. It's so funny, people, like, last episode you really liked it, and in this one it's sort of
last episode I just thought was chill.
Yeah, it was chill. It was chill.
It's not the best Star Wars I've ever seen.
Right.
But from all these episodes, it was among the better ones.
Yeah. So it seems like they basically used this vergence in the Force, and they somehow took the midichlorians in these children, and instead of them kind of growing separately as different individuals, like in their blood, they're the same. So there's some sort of manipulation that took place. They're artificially created. And it's like they're saying here, split one consciousness into two bodies. That was sort of the key here. One consciousness split into two bodies.
Okay.
Which is strange. So if you think about that, like they're that's why we kind of thought that they're one's light side, one's dark side. Yeah. Because each of us has light and dark inside,
but
right?
Each of them also has both light and dark. It's not that clear anymore who's who.
Yeah, it's weird.
And it might be at the end that they both turn around, right? Osha's becoming the dark side person and May is becoming the light side sister.
Yeah. Soul says only a vergence could create that type of power, the power necessary to manipulate midichlorians essentially that way, and to create life as they did. So I guess to simplify it all, they're at the bottom line here. What they're ticked about is that they're using the Force, and they're using a vergence in the Force, a nexus, if you will, to create life. And they're doing something that is super unnatural. They themselves are manipulating it, and it's not the Force.
Right.
It's unlike they're trying to, I think, draw a further distinction between the idea that this had the intention of witches behind it, or people or humans or whatever. And with Anakin, it's not that way. That's not, no one, it was there was no being besides the Force, right? The cosmic force that basically said, it is time. A chosen one shall come forward. So yeah, they did figure out how to do it. And they even say if the Jedi find out how we did this, they might not like how we did it, and it's going to be considered dark. I guess I'm just confused as to why it would be one consciousness split in two, and what the whole deal is there with that one. Yeah, who cares? You can make twins. That's not a huge deal. Like, whatever. If you can, go ahead.
Yeah. What do you think of Soul's feeling that he needs to be Osha's master, the connection he feels. Do you think it's the Force working through him and bringing Osha to her future master that way? And not Soul, but actually Kaimir?
Yeah.
Or
I don't
what is
know.
that feeling inside of him that he...
Well, it's choices. So again, the idea, I think one of the things that I remember the creator talking about is that the Force, there's a small conversation here about destiny and fate and free will and those types of things. And so we see that, all of our characters have free will and that they act on their own accord and they make choices, right?
Yeah.
And no one is really fated for some certain destiny necessarily, except for the chosen one, Anakin Skywalker. But even he has choices, right? And he has to make the choice to come back. And so it actually comes down to one of the things that's interesting in Harry Potter. Sorry to keep referencing it this episode, but do you choose to believe in those prophecies or not? It's a choice to believe in them as well, too. So that affects all of that as well. It's super mystical and stuff and fun to think about. But yeah, I think, I don't know what Soul is thinking, honestly, in this moment. He's saying, I think he's a little jealous of Master Endara that she has a Padawan, and he even says early in the episode, like, I wouldn't, it kind of insinuates that he wouldn't train him that way, or he wouldn't, he almost as if he disagrees with Endara on how she's coaching her Padawan.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's some jealousy thing, and he just felt like he should have, because she says, this is your own ambition. Your own ambition is getting in the way, your own pride, your own, Master Endara basically, she's kind of reminding him to, what is it? Not focus on what he wants.
Get your feelings mixed up first with Torben's.
Right.
Right. When he thought, it might have been Torben, and we see it was Torben who wanted to leave, but Soul says it. He says it out loud, and Endara reminds him, well, maybe it was you who was, not happy about it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just don't know. I really have. I got to go back and watch it again. I'm sure there's some things that I'm missing and not understanding, but I don't really get it. It seems like Master Soul was super selfish, and they disobeyed the council. Torben disobeys because he wants to get off the planet. Soul's like, I want a Padawan, and I think Osha is in trouble. And then they find out, like, oh shoot, it looks like actually they were created in a really dark way. Oh, and then it seemed like May indicated that one of them might be sacrificed, or that they could be sacrificing these children for some greater power. Which, who knows? I actually don't know. Maybe that is the freaking case. Because did you hear them arguing with her, like when the witches were arguing with Mother Anastasia, and they were kind of like, this is not your decision. They're our future. They're our future. And you're like, what? Just these two kids are going to be the legacy of your whole coven, or what's the deal?
I don't know. Yeah.
Because witches sometimes want young, small children for immortality.
Yeah.
And that is probably what they actually were all about, and they're hinting at, but we never get to see that. I wouldn't be surprised if, that was the whole point, is they have to kind of sacrifice themselves for the greater good, for the power of many versus the power of these two twins.
Yeah.
I don't know. So we'll see. I don't think we're getting any more flashbacks. I think maybe Mother, the other mother, Coral, is still out and about.
Yeah.
Because I have to go back and check. You guys let me know. I didn't see her actually die.
Yeah.
She doesn't seem like she's one of the people in that crowd who is swaying back and forth, taking control of Kelnaka. And you feel like she'd be right there in the middle. I'll go triple check here. Got the screen up in front of me, but I mean, it just not what I remember seeing.
Now that you're saying it, are they living, the other witches? Are they living through the power of Mother Coral and Mother Anastasia? Almost like, okay, Mother Anastasia is dead, and then the second Mother Coral is killed. The others can't survive because both of the mothers held that coven, the life force in the coven together.
Could be.
I can't find any
wispy.
other
They can all actually
explanation for
it. They have the power to disapparate and turn into smoke. So that's kind of strange, right?
And what was she going to do? You were right earlier when you said Mother Anastasia was vanishing into that smoke form, and then also May was turning into smoke as well. That's what Soul saw. Yeah. And that's what caused him to kill her.
Oh, let me go back to that scene just exactly here, because I got it pulled up here in front of me. Because that was again, I'm confused. It's strange, but maybe
What was she trying to do there?
Maybe that does tell us something more about what they, I don't know, like how they're all connected, interconnected. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and May is connected through her. She was ascended, right? The ascension worked on her.
True.
But Osha didn't, so maybe
true.
that
What
was
does
part
that
of it too?
Yeah, what does that mean? Also, go back to the beginning of the season too, when you have when we're having all these visions between May and Osha, right?
Mhm.
So there's some intrigue there. This stuff is just I don't know, it's just a little confusing to me because you have to go back and remember like those weird visions that she was having. She was sleeping in the ship that crashed in like episode 1 or 2 or whatever, and then she was seeing her sister, but her young sister, like a younger version of her, and she was having these darker visions and stuff.
Yeah.
So
it's true. Yep.
Okay, I have it pulled up here, and he yells at Osha because he thinks that's Osha. This is Master Soul as she rushes out, and she basically says, "Help me," and that kind of causes then Mother Quirrell to pull her weapon, and she's facing down Torben, and Torben ignites his yellow lightsaber, which is cool that we're seeing more of that.
An interesting technique. He's just like
right, exactly.
But he never really.
You're right. You're right. May is actually turning into smoke too.
Mm-hmm.
She is turning into smoke, and they're coming together and they're uniting. But so when Mother Anastasia is killed in her form like that, she dies, but not the rest of them. I don't know. They're somehow tied together.
Yeah, because Mother Quirrell is still alive at that point.
Oh, you think it's just those two, that Mother Quirrell and Mother Anastasia are sort of the ones binding everybody together? Maybe
I don't know why. Otherwise, why everyone would fall dead once?
Yeah,
Inara.
Once
Indara.
One person. Yeah, once Master Indara.
She didn't touch any of the other witches.
No, right. It seems like they can meld together.
Yeah. And
it took all of them as one being. And I guess going back to what they were saying with like splitting one consciousness, they're of one consciousness split into different forms.
Oh, maybe.
The whole coven. Yeah. Dang.
It also kind of.
So Mother Anastasia is not necessarily dead when he kills her. Well, like she's in her smoke form.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Well,
she turns back into human form.
Yeah.
When he
uses
lightsaber.
But I mean, is that what kills her? Like, can she inhabit another body? Like witches possessing and stuff like that. And I'm just thinking about the classic idea of witches wanting immortality or shifting bodies or essence and stuff like that. So trippy. Yeah,
another thing that bothers me is that Soul feels this great connection to Osha, but then I don't know, maybe it's the rush of things, but he can't tell those two apart when she comes in. When May comes in, he thinks it's Osha.
Yeah, good point.
And as a Jedi, they feel that. They feel the presence, especially if you feel a connection to someone. I feel like, why would he mistake it?
The fact that he thought that was, because clearly we know they're supposed to be identical.
Yeah.
So I know they're just doing it because of the two different for children, that's hard to do. But there is something to that. You could get the same child actors to do the same thing. You could get them to act different ways. The fact that they actually choose two different individuals and then we have an identical. Okay, hold on. That's something. At first, I was just thinking that it's hard for child actors to play both sides.
Right.
Good and bad.
Yeah.
It's a lot to ask of them.
Yeah.
But now I'm starting to think that's not the case. Now I'm starting to think that you had Osha and May, and they're twins for sure. Cool. They're identical in terms of, but it feels like now in the adult form, like when we see May and Osha as an adult, it's the same. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about it the wrong way. It's weird. I'm wondering if there's actually a meaning to why they didn't use the same child actress, the same child actor. Because think about it, if they're all split, if it's the same person, right? Yeah. And May actually did die. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like, I saw her die.
Oh, okay.
So Soul's like, I literally saw her fall and die. How could there be another? How could there be another version of? Did they clone her? and then their essence is the witch's essence, or whoever's left over is poured into May? Like, what's the deal?
Oh, you said you think Coral survived.
Yeah.
Maybe Coral had like the remainders of like the remaining body of May and brought it to Chimere.
I'll tell you what.
To help resurrect her?
Maybe. I don't. I have no idea at this point. I have no clue. I'll say this: if in the next episode, what is it? We'll got to get to the end on this one. Okay. I know I wasn't even going to go this long because this episode's been kind of like, I don't even know what to say. I'll think about it, rewatch it again, see what else this time out, make some shorts on it. But the next episode better be an hour and 20 minutes. It better be an hour and 20 minutes to explain all the different questions that I have. Well, we need a season 2. I heard this was supposed to be a nice, neatly wrapped up, could be finished season 1. And it doesn't seem like in one episode we're going to get all those different answers. But I don't know. I mean, it's wild. This is kind of wild. But now I think we're on to something. I just need to think about it more. You guys send me some messages over on Yodastu77 at Instagram or the Gmail if you want to, wherever. But I check the Instagram every day. If you think you understand this, I guess. If you think you understand what's going on between the twins, how Soul really, because we never got an explanation as to what happened to May. How could she survive that fall as a child? She has the Force. It's possible. Characters in Star Wars typically fall a long way. But maybe Mother Coral's down there and she is the power of one, poof, saves her because she's left. Is everyone living in her, now? Is she the last person and all of these essences are tied together? Because we have essentially one consciousness split into 2 twin bodies. That's what they find out. Yeah. That's what Torben realizes. And like, that's dark. So actually, are they all related in that way? Right. Are they all one consciousness that's like living on in the twins? Is that why the twins are this future for them? And they're like, you can't let her leave because we need to bind her to, our
There's not enough room in just May for all our consciousnesses.
Don't know. I'm probably getting too carried away with all of it. Probably thinking about it too hard, but I don't know. We'll see. Just gonna wait till next episode. I'm not gonna get too invested in it because I'm sort of like, give me a good closing episode. It could save everything. It could be freaking awesome and tie everything up and be cool. But right now, I'm just disappointed in our Jedi. Yeah, I'm a Jedi master myself, and I would have to say, sorry. Hand your lightsabers over. Yeah, take your robes off. Out of here. You're out of here. Done. Turn your badge in. Anyway, so
you're right. I think we have to wait for next week to really fully judge on this whole show and see what it's like.
So we'll tune off here. We'll figure out what everybody else is saying online. I'm sure it's gonna be it's always entertaining, actually. Always entertaining. And some of it's I don't mean, by the way, when I say that, I'm not talking about all of the hate and I don't think any of that kind of stuff is. I don't think any of that, bigotry, racism, sexism, stuff like that is entertaining at all, just so you guys know. So it's really just because people take it that way in Star Wars, which is terrible. Yeah. I feel bad that I even have to kind of say that, but I mean that there are people in the fandom that are like that. Yeah. I hope that when the Harry Potter shows come out and when the shows that we care about, that's a fandom that we do on Shell Cottage Radio. I hope when that comes out, we don't have a whole bunch of that stuff going on too. It's just like, man, it sucks that people, I'm happy that everybody's, we have a big fandom, but people need to make sure that they check themselves. On the light side. You don't have to like the show at all. And I'm kind of like, we're saying this episode, not so sure, hoping that last episode's going to save us here. But I like hearing, there's funny things. I guess what I mean when I'm entertained is like Yord looking through the binoculars, like for somebody 4 feet away. I love that dude. And then all of a sudden he's killed. Come on. Yeah. I was holding on. I was like following that dude. I was like, let's go. And Jackie thought she was cool too. Yeah. But now they're gone. And Cortosis, that was cool. Bring it in. That's neat. That was interesting. Good lore stuff. Jedi are letting me down. And freaking last thing is Vanestra probably used her light whip on Chimere. I'll go ahead and say a bonus.
Everybody's saying that.
Everyone's saying it online. So that's the kind of stuff that I think is entertaining when I get off here. That's what I mean by that. Because I think that actually, and I will just mention it quickly. Again, guys, some of your thoughts. Maybe we'll do a little something, a little extra video, a little extra pod for you guys. But if Chimere is, who is Chimere? That's the big question.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
He says he's a nobody.
It's the actual mystery.
The actor says he's actually a Sith Lord. We're all like Cortosis. We're all looking at Beldemnik. We're all looking at Master Tenebris, Darth Plagueis. I'll go ahead and say it officially just here so people know. Darth Plagueis in Legends, according to the timeline there, would only be 14, 15, 16 years old during this time. At the earliest, some say he was born in 120 BBY, which would be like years after this show. So they would say he's not even alive.
Yeah.
But the internet's buzzing with rumors saying that like Chimere is actually Plagueis. So I don't know. I have no clue at this point. Now, they better tell us. They better drop a line next episode. If they don't, like, come on.
Do you hope it's not Darth? He's not Darth
Plagueis. If he is, I can tell you right now, people will lose their mind. And that to me, it will be one of those funny things where it's sort of like, guys, they can do what they want. Okay. They can make, I would personally, I think when you can make Legend Star Wars fit, I think you have more novels. I know it's like this new sort of new group of creators, a new president, and when Disney took over, it's this whole new thing. We have all like new canon, right?
Yeah.
And there's certain things that you have to keep though, right? For example, they had to decide, oh, should we just redo they actually had a decision. People don't realize this. They could have said, you know what? Let's go ahead and redo episodes 1, 2, and 3. Let's go ahead and cast a new Luke Skywalker and just do a complete reboot. That's what they're doing. I mean, for an HBO, like they're doing TV show version of that and saying, hey, those will stand there. We'll go ahead and do our thing. I hate that. I'm so glad they didn't do that. So I just want to remind folks that's what they could have done.
Yeah.
People probably wouldn't even watch it. It would have been a whole new universe, totally their thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's some people are probably like, no, I wish they would have rather just done that. And then instead of
completely separated the two.
So you got people on both sides.
Yeah.
Because people's major problem with this show is that it seems to be dictating to episode 1. It seems to be dictating to the prequels. Yeah. And that's their terminology, right? I get it that they're basically saying this is why the Jedi Council would not train Anakin because of these two right here. I don't know. Then you had this episode, Master and Dara's like they're too old. So that throws that they just don't do this. Soul was just pushy. Yeah. Right. And they're not necessarily, that's where you have to wait for the whole show to come out and say, see, they're not really dictating. They're not trying to do that. Yeah. They're just trying to tell a good story. Now, that's where I feel like you can be critical. Do you think it's a good story or are you enjoying your time? I'm enjoying really the speculation around the fandom. Yeah. I'm not inspired by these Jedi. I'm disappointed by them. But it's an interesting conversation in terms of when I think that with Chimere, they should, if that is going to be Plagueis, it is what it is. You have to kind of accept it and move on. I don't think it should be personally. I think if they wanted to, this is where I'm kind of like, call him someone else, call him, Master. I wish he were Tenebrous' master. Yeah. Have the timeline somewhat kind of work out and just work through that. If you can have a Sith Lord, no problem. Yeah. But are you going to make him Darth Plagueis? I think they are, by the way. Wow. I think he is Darth Plagueis. Straight up. I don't disagree with what people are saying. I think he flat out is. They're going to call him Darth Plagueis. And that is what it is. Does he have a master at this point in time? I'm not sure. That might be why they're calling this the Acolyte, is that Darth Plagueis himself, or Darth Chimere, Darth Plagueis, is actually just he himself is acquiring an Acolyte, which would be Osha, but Darth Plagueis at this time has a master himself. Okay. That would still kind of fit in terms of the Legends timeline. Yeah. It's just their species would be way off. Right. So, and I think that's really going to upset people. So, because people have always thought of him, all these lore videos, everything, have him this particular way. And I think people would be a little bit hurt by that. Yeah. You got to show me a picture what his species. Yeah, I will. When we get off here, I'll show you. I'm trying to think of an example of what that would have looked like. Because he's not necessarily been canon. There's no resource in current canon right now that really says his species other than some visual dictionary thing.
They brought Thrawn as canon.
They did. So there were some things already pre-established. Like, yes, okay. Actually, when Rebels came out, that's a good one. I'm glad you brought that up. When Rebels came out, they chose to bring a Legends character into the story. Yeah. And they brought in Thrawn. Now, I don't know if there was anything in actual canon, like episodes 1, 2, 3, because when Disney takes over, it's just literally episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and Star Wars, the Clone Wars, and there was no Thrawn was just in the books. And so when Dave Filoni decides to bring him into Rebels, into the new Disney canon, he didn't change his species.
No, yeah.
He didn't.
and
He didn't. I mean, I think if they would have done that, that's kind of what this would feel like, right?
Yeah.
Is if Dave Filoni said, you know what, I'm gonna bring Thrawn in, but guess what? He's not blue anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you guys all think he's blue, but this is new canon, and we don't think he's blue. All right.
Yeah.
He's gonna be green, or something. He's gonna be a human. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I guess like when you do pull something out of Legends like that, and you bring that person into canon, you're expecting their physical appearance to still be the same.
Yeah.
So that's where I feel like if Chimere is Plagueis and they change his species, people are like, what the heck? And it's not going to feel as authentic because there's this established 10, 15 years where people were like, that's Plagueis.
Or he just drank some polyjuice potion.
Maybe.
Actually looks different.
Who knows? Anyway, all right. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much. Sorry, we're just responding to the episode. I've been up and down. It's really been every other episode, back and forth.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they want. It's a little back and forth action in terms of the ups and downs on their actions. But there it is. It's all I can say about it. We'll be back with more. Thank you guys for the support. Thanks for the support over on the YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys subscribing over there. And also over on Facebook, by the way, for example, and blowing up on Facebook right now, which is a lot of fun. So thanks to folks over there. And over on Instagram. So Yodas277, make sure you follow us. And don't forget to check out Shell Cottage Radio. Much happier vibes over there. Okay. It's very cozy. It's very fun. And I think you guys would really like it. So go check it out. All right. With that, thanks again. And we'll be back. And as always, may the Force be with you.
It's over, Commander.
Did you hear that?
Don't underestimate the Force.